Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to Life from the Wrist. Hope you all are doing well today. We got a red box. This is a watch that we're going to be looking at. It is a Longines sort of tank style rectangular watch from the early 1950s. It has obviously the original box and it comes with some interesting sort of booklets, which I think is kind of cool, especially for a watch of this era. I think Longines during this time produced some of the world leading watches, both from a accuracy and complication perspective, but also from a movement finishing perspective. As you can see, the watch is a tank style sort of very clean, dressy watch. So I'm very excited to get into this watch with you. So without further ado, let me flip perspectives so you can take a look at this watch. All right, so before we open up this box, I sort of wanted to go over, you know, who Longines was during the time period this watch was produced, and also sort of talk about some of the other brands that were manufacturing watches at this time. So this watch, according to the serial number, dates back to 1951. And during the 40s and 50s, there were many watch brands that were producing a wide range of watches that really pushed the boundaries of watchmaking in many different ways. And there are really important sort of innovations in the movement side of things, where companies were really focused on getting the observatory certification. Watches like the Rolex Submariner were famous, a lot of other Omegas. There were some really great chronographs that were also being produced. But I think Longines played a kind of an interesting role in all of this. Yes, they were producing some very similar pieces, chronographs that you can think of from this region. But they were also producing watches like this, which is a little bit more, let's call it simplistic, but packed a really big punch when it came to all the watchmaking that went into this piece. One of the things that I think that makes Longines stand out during this time period is the commitment to the quality of their movement construction and finishing, which obviously was on some watchmakers' minds, but I think Longines really stood head and shoulders above many, where they focused on that, not just the accuracy of their watches. So as you can see, the watch comes in this Longines-Wittnauer product box, which is reflective of the fact that this watch was most likely sold in the United States. So you can see the outer box here, a little bit of, sorry, I don't know why we're not focused here. Some of the little bit of a thing on the side of the box here, perhaps a little bit of moisture on that side, but for the most part, this watch is in pretty good condition. What I did find interesting is if you look at the, let's see if I can get this to focus there. There is some text here that says that this box was made in Sweden. Hopefully you can see that, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I guess you can say the box wasn't completely Swiss made. So you have this outer box, and if you take it off, the watch then has these two really cool booklets from the time period. So as you can see, this one says how to treat your watch for best service, and then if you look here, it sort of talks about ways that you can treat your watch with care in order to make sure it lasts the longest. There's stuff about shock resistance, winding your watch and doing it at a specific time in the morning. If you want to pause and read this, you can. Pause the video and read this, you can. But really interesting to sort of see this little booklet here that they have put together. As you can see down here, Longines-Wittnauer, New York, Montreal, Geneva. And so this is one of the sort of pieces that comes with it. Then there is this watch book here, which if you look here, it says, treasure your Longines, the world's most honored watch. And it's basically some information about all the interesting innovations that this watch did, what comes with it. There's a cool section that talking about how to care for your watch. Some information about the balance wheel, there's a nice picture here of the factory of Longines. So a pretty cool little piece of history here. If we skip over to the back, you can see that there isn't any service memorandum. We do have the serial number of the watch located here. And so, nice little leather-bound booklet that does come with this watch. Alright, so then we have, this is our outer case. I'm just gonna put it over to the side really quickly so I can get into the watch. So, you can see the inner box for this piece has the similar writing as the outer box, really nicely produced by Longines in very good condition. And if we see here, again it says, if I can get it to focus, box made in Sweden. And so when you open this box up, you will then see the watch. And one of the things that I found so cool with this piece is this little, I'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see it. It was this little price tag right here where it actually shows the cost of the watch when it was sold, which it's a little detail that I think was kind of interesting. It's kind of cool that you are able to imagine, you know, your imagination sort of runs wild and you think, oh, I'm sure someone was staring at this watch in the glass display at a jeweler and saw that in 1951, which is kind of just cool to you know, think about. So very typical box from Longines of the era, and obviously what you're looking at is a Longines sort of tank style watch. So the watch is in this sort of rectangular shape and was produced by Longines-Wittnauer. The case is 10 karat gold filled and has a very, very clean dial. Let me just make sure I don't think this has been wound, but it's a manual wind movement. And so, as you can see, very, very clean dial with a gold sort of rectangular tank style case. I will zoom up onto the dial here so that you can see it a little bit more as I sort of talk through the details. So, get the focus in here. There you go. So, the watch, as I mentioned, is 10 karat gold filled with a really clean white dial that has applied gold hour markers. The hour markers, hands, and subdials are all gold tone. The watch is on a 10 karat gold filled stretch bracelet, which was very popular during this era. Probably not as popular now, and I think it's very easy to switch the strap out for something like a leather strap, which I think a lot of us are more accustomed to wearing. If we take a look, and I'll zoom out here so you can see it, the watch is maybe a little bit on the smaller side for many of you know, you who are watching this video. The watch is 34 millimeters tall, and so if you look at it on my wrist here, you can see sort of what it's going to look like on your wrist. So a little bit on the smaller side, but I think when you have a watch like this, I think you're really going for something a little bit more understated, not so large, just a little bit smaller, and you know, it's serving a different purpose than maybe something like a steel sports watch would. I think the dial is really, really clean on this watch. It allows it to be very, very legible. I like the fact that there is a sub-dial with the seconds. I'm a huge fan of that. It gives a lot of sort of symmetry to the overall look of the case. The bracelet actually doesn't look terrible on the watch. If you look at it, it matches sort of the case. I will note that there is a little bit of oxidation on the gold on the top of the case, as you can kind of see. Further, it does look like some of the gold plating is coming off just on the edges of the case. But overall, I do think the watch has a pretty appealing look. You can see these lugs are integrated nicely with the side of the case, where they sort of align with the outside of the case and allow for a strap to be attached to the specific watch. Now, I mentioned sort of your imagination running wild with this piece. Another really cool thing about this watch is the fact that there actually is an inscription on the case back. So if we take a look here on the case back, you can see an inscription. And the inscription states, "Love HK to TGB." What's really cool about this is obviously this watch was significant to two individuals, even though they are unknown. It was most likely a gift from one to another. And being that there is a pretty clear significance in at least two people's lives that this watch has played, it's something that kind of rings true with those of you who are interested in collecting vintage watches or like to know the stories behind specific watches. The watch, as I mentioned, has a manual wind movement, which is something that I wanted to discuss. The 9L movement was produced in the 1940s and 50s, and it's clearly thought of as a movement that is demonstrative of the high level of finishing that Longines applied to many of their movements. Sure, it's a smaller watch, but what's incredible is the watch actually has solid gold. I'm going to quote someone, and I'll put a link in the article that we do for this video, but someone on Watch You Seek sort of described the 9L movement as it having gold chatons surrounded by the ruby jewels, burnished teeth on the gears, all the plates are chamfered. It's basically Geneva seal quality. And I think that is what really stands out about this piece, is the fact that the 9L movement is pretty representative of what Longines was doing during this time period with a lot of their movements, and really made them stand out in the crowd. So this watch is, I think, really demonstrative of the incredible nature of Longines and what they produced during this time period. I think this watch is something that you would probably want to wear in more of an understated, nonchalant mindset. The watch doesn't really come with any high complications. It's really just time only and doesn't stick out on your wrist. It's going to be very, very understated. But wearing this watch sort of optimizes what a classic watch is, and it really has an exceptional movement produced by one of the world-leading watchmakers. As I mentioned, there's an article about this watch, so you can check that out on our website. With that said, let me flip perspectives so we can close out the video. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this Longines watch and all of the accompanying documents and artifacts that it does come in. I do really love, first off, I really love the inner box. I do think it's really beautiful, but the red box is obviously quite eye-catching. As I mentioned, there is an article on our website. If you want to read more about this Longines watch, you can check it out at lifeonthewrist.com in the editorial section. If you want to see some more pictures, there's going to be some pictures on that article as well. Let me know what you think about this watch. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are new to Life on the Wrist, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video and this channel with a friend who might be interested in watches. I'd love to have you guys be able to be a part of what we're doing here. If you wouldn't mind liking this video, it really does help me out. And with this said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time.